How's Brazil dealing with COVID? Well, today, June the 9th, at 9 p.m., these are the numbers. Brazil is still on the rise. We're reaching the top of the curve, and I think we haven't reached it yet. How many dead people for 1 million inhabitants? This, for me, is the number I really want to understand and know. In United States, 340 dead persons for 1 million inhabitants. Brazil, 172. But Brazil is rising a lot faster than US. That's the difference. In United States, 17 days ago, I think we were around 300. Now, in United States, it's 340. But Brazil 17 days ago was 95 and now it's 172, almost the double. So that means that in Brazil we're still rising on the curve and we haven't reached the top. In Europe, when you look at these numbers, they're stable. They have stabilized their numbers, which means that it's not rising, and on the opposite, it's going down. And this is why they have started to get back to at least what seems to be a normal life. At the same time, what is happening in Europe is very interesting because as they stop the social distancing at home, as they relieve all the measures they had taken, we will know in a few weeks if it produces a second wave or not. Because one of the biggest doubts we have with this pandemic is to know if when you stop lockdowns, do you have a second wave or not? Nobody knows this. A lot of people think we will have a second wave. I think we won't. Let's pray. At least, as now in Europe, they've stopped their lockdowns and are getting back to a normal life. Germany, Norway, Denmark, Germany, France, Italy, Spain. In a few weeks from now, we will know what happens when you don't have the isolation, and we will know if we have a second wave or not. Regarding Brazil, we're still on the rise, and a lot faster than the US. Now, what goes on in the city of São Paulo? This is very interesting. If we look at the capacity that we have with intensive care unit beds in the city of São Paulo, and I'm speaking of public hospitals, it's a lot better than what it was 10 days ago because we've been able to increase the number of beds. And intensive care unit beds give you a very good idea of the amount of people who are sick. Because of course, if you don't test everybody, you will never know if you're on the rise or if you're going down the slope. So this is why I always check the number of people who are in intensive care units. Because of course, if you get sick, if it's mild, it's fine. If it's serious, it really will give you an idea because you will have the people at the intensive care unit and you will know if we're on the rise, stabilized or going down. So, how many intensive care unit beds we have now? We used to have around 900 intensive care unit beds for the whole city of São Paulo. We now have almost 1,200 beds. They've increased the capacity. Very nice. So the capacity, the fullness is a lot better. We used to have around 90% of occupancy. Now we're around 65, which is a lot better. What about seriously ill patients that go to intensive care units? Well, on the 27th, May 27th, we had 780 people in intensive care unit beds. Now we have 793, almost 800. So a little more, but not a lot more. We've been in these last few days, I've been checking around 750 and 780. So that's fine. And that tells us that at least in São Paulo, the curve is not, we're not going up very fast. Eventually, just a little bit. This is very good. Regarding private hospitals, even better. A lot of intensive care unit beds available, 35% of occupancy, which is very nice. And once more, in the city of São Paulo where we live, I think the situation is first under control, and second, we're not having more cases than what we used to, because the intensive care unit beds are not on the rise. It's more or less what we usually have. As I told you, on the May 27th, 780, and today the 793, almost the same. So that's very nice. These are the news that I wanted to give you.